Hi, my name's Sacha Newall. I'm the co-founder and CEO of My Wardrobe HQ. So My Wardrobe HQ was born from my experience of working in the car sharing industry. For every car shared, 11 are taken off the road, and I thought it would be really interesting if we could apply that statistic to the fashion industry and see people buying less, really better quality clothes and then sharing them. So most of the items that you rent on My Wardrobe HQ were new from the brand. As with all the Karen Millen stock, we have incredible new season pieces that people can rent and subscribe to for a fraction of the normal price. And if they love wearing them and they want to make them part of their wardrobe, they can keep them, and when they're ready to start renting them out, they can list them on the platform and start making money from them. I started working in TV advertising, and I worked on everything from Levi ads through to the Vauxhall supermodel ad that introduced Kate Moss to the UK market for the first time. After that, I moved into media and started working in magazines, doing telesales as everyone did back in those days. Started in the computer industry, then moved to Vogue, and then afterwards got into newspapers and was working at the Times and Sunday Times, and then finally I worked at the Daily Mail for 10 years. And most recently I started working in the car sharing industry, which is incredibly exciting, looking at the future of the car industry with BMW. The future of cars will be all about sharing. So that was a bit of a light bulb moment for me, and it made me question whether or not women would be prepared to share their wardrobes. And that's how my wardrobe came to life. With hindsight, it feels obvious when it's time to move, and it's generally about people. So I think when you're in jobs where you've really found your people, you stay and you enjoy every moment of it. But inevitably things evolve and change, and you'll get to a stage where either your team's outgrown you or you've outgrown your team, and you need to look for something new and challenging to do. So part of my motivation for a career change was looking at sustainability issues. I'd done a little bit of work with Depop and seen sort of Vinted launch into the UK market, and started to think that it's great the way that they're building communities, but this could be done in a much more elevated way. And so My Wardrobe HQ is a place that people can come to find elevated luxury fashion that they can either buy or rent, and obviously we're thrilled that Karen Millen is now part of our family. In the end, everything always goes back to people. So if you're having a great time with your team, you're challenged by your job and you're enjoying it, it's probably not the right time to change. But if you're beginning to feel that you're no longer learning, potentially also you might be looking for something that will feed your soul a little bit more, something that really has a cause behind it. If all of those are motivations that you're starting to feel, then that's probably the right time to make a change. The most rented Karen Millen item is an occasion wear dress, which is a black embellished, beautiful dress that is constantly rented out. So my job in newspapers was to overcome challenges. So I have to say there were a lot of big challenges that we always managed to overcome. So I can only really think of the one that I couldn't overcome. And that one, still to this day, leaves me scratching my head as to how we could have done it. And I was called into an editorial meeting where they were discussing the fact that Christmas presents couldn't be delivered to the Highlands of Scotland that year because the weather was too bad. And they called me in and they said, Sacha, we want the front page tomorrow to say the Daily Mail is guaranteeing they will deliver every present into Scotland. You have to find a way of doing it. And I stood outside of his office for about 5 minutes scratching my head thinking, if all of the world experts can't do it, this is the only thing that's got me beaten. What I enjoy most now about My Wardrobe HQ is the fact I've been able to build a really fantastic team. It's predominantly female, but it's very diverse. We have a huge amount of fun in the office. We're a very office culture-based business, and that is probably the most enjoyable part of what I do now. As a woman, work-life balance is always difficult, particularly when there's kids involved. So when I was working and the kids were small, that was incredibly difficult. But now my children are older, my sons are 20 and 25, so I don't have the pulls on my time, I don't have the guilt around missing everything. So the fashion market in 10 years' time, I do think it's going to be unrecognisable, particularly retail. I think that there will be retail destinations that are all about the theatre and probably not focused on selling at all, where all selling will take place online. The other thing that I think we'll see some really key changes in is the way that people shop. So it will be no longer about ownership and much more about a sharing economy, and Karen Millen has been incredibly pioneering, being one of the first big brands to really get behind that. So you can now rent Karen Millen items on a pay-as-you-go basis. You pay 10% of the original price to be able to do that. There's now a subscription package, so you can rent 2 items of Karen Millen clothing for £59 or 4 items for £99. You keep them for as long as you want them, and you just constantly rotate them. The clue's in the name, Karen Millen rotates, and that's an incredibly exciting new way for people to be able to shop that I think will only grow over the next 10 years.